Picture this. You're walking down the street and you spot a $100 bill on the ground. You pick it up, and for a second you feel great. A little burst of joy. Free money. Now picture a different scenario. You reach into your pocket for your wallet and it's gone. Somewhere between the coffee shop and your car, you lost $100. How do those two feelings compare? If you're being honest, losing that $100 probably hurt way more than finding it would have felt good. And that's not a coincidence. That's your brain, working exactly the way it was built to work. Stick with me, because understanding this one quirk of the human mind explains so much of why we make the money decisions we make. Why we're scared to invest, why we hold on to bad decisions too long, and why some people build wealth calmly while others feel like they're constantly playing defense with their money. Let's start with a question. Have you ever noticed that a bad day sticks with you longer than a good day? You could have 5 wonderful things happen and one small thing go wrong, and somehow it's the one bad thing you're still thinking about at midnight. That's not just you being negative. That's your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do. Here's the psychology behind it. Researchers have found that, emotionally, a loss hits us roughly twice as hard as an equivalent gain feels good. So losing $100 doesn't just feel like the opposite of finding $100. It feels worse. Significantly worse. Psychologists call this loss aversion, and once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere in your own life. Let's tell a story. Meet Rachel. Rachel bought a stock a few months ago at $50 a share. It's now sitting at $45 a share. Every time Rachel checks her portfolio, her stomach drops a little. She knows, rationally, that a $5 dip isn't the end of the world. She's read enough to know markets go up and down all the time. But she can't stop refreshing the app. She can't stop thinking about it. Why does losing that money in her head feel so much bigger than the actual dollar amount would suggest? Now flip it. A few weeks earlier, that same stock had gone up by $5 a share. Did Rachel feel a rush of excitement equal to the dread she's feeling now? Be honest with yourself here, because if you've ever owned an investment, you already know the answer. The high from the gain barely registered. The low from the loss consumed her whole afternoon. Same amount of money, wildly different emotional weight. Why would our brains be built this way? Think about it from an evolutionary angle for a second. Imagine you're one of our ancestors thousands of years ago. If you find an extra piece of food, that's nice, a small bonus. But if you lose your food supply, that could mean starvation. Losses, historically, were often far more dangerous than gains were beneficial, so our brains learn to weight them differently. The problem is, that same wiring that once kept us alive is now running the show every time we check our bank account or think about investing. And it's not always working in our favor anymore. So what does this actually do to us in everyday life? Let's talk about investing first, because this is where loss aversion causes some of the most expensive damage. Have you ever kept a chunk of your money sitting in a savings account, earning almost nothing, instead of investing it? If so, ask yourself honestly, was that because you did the math and decided cash was truly the better option? Or was it because the thought of watching your investment dip, even temporarily, felt unbearable? Here's the trap. Because losses feel so much worse than gains feel good, people become far more afraid of a temporary drop than they are excited about long-term growth. So they avoid investing altogether, or they pull their money out the moment the market dips, locking in a real loss to escape the fear of a potential one. Ironically, this fear of losing money often causes people to lose more money in the long run, because their cash sits still, while inflation quietly shrinks it year after year. The fear of a visible, dramatic loss blinds people to the slow, invisible one happening the whole time. Let's bring in another story. Meet Tom and his brother David. Both inherited $10,000 from their grandmother. Tom, spooked by stories of market crashes, kept his in a regular savings account, untouched for 10 years. David invested his in a simple, diversified index fund and left it alone. 10 years later, Tom's money had barely grown, and once you account for inflation, it was actually worth less in real terms than when he started. David's had grown significantly. Tom didn't make a bad decision because he was less smart than David. He made a decision driven by the fear of loss, a fear so powerful it felt safer to guarantee a slow loss than risk a visible one, even though the numbers said otherwise. Does this pattern show up anywhere else in your life? Think about the last time you held onto something you should have let go of. Maybe a stock that kept falling, a business idea that wasn't working, or even a bad habit you knew wasn't serving you. Loss aversion doesn't just affect investing. It affects every decision where letting go means admitting a loss. Psychologists call this the sunk cost trap, and it's a close cousin of loss aversion. The longer we've held onto something, the harder it becomes to walk away. Because walking away means facing the loss head-on, instead of quietly hopping, it reverses itself. Here's a question worth asking yourself. How many decisions have you made recently, big or small, that were really just about avoiding the feeling of loss, rather than actually maximizing what's best for you long-term? Now here's where it gets interesting. Loss aversion isn't just something that happens to you. It's something that gets used on you constantly, often without you noticing. Think about how sales and marketing are built. Limited time offer. Only 3 left in stock. Don't miss out. Why do those phrases work so well? Because they're not selling you a gain, they're threatening you with a loss. The fear of missing out is really just loss aversion wearing a different outfit. Retailers know that the fear of losing a deal motivates people far more powerfully than the appeal of gaining one ever could. Have you ever bought something you didn't need, purely because you were afraid the discount would disappear? That wasn't a logical purchase. That was your ancient, food scarcity brain reacting to a modern marketing trick. So if this wiring is so deep, so old, and so powerful, does that mean we're just stuck being ruled by it forever? Not necessarily. You can't delete loss aversion from your brain. It's part of being human. But you can learn to recognize it in the moment, and that recognition alone changes everything. Here's how the people who handle money well actually deal with this. They don't try to feel less fear. They build systems that don't require them to fight that fear in real time. Instead of checking their investments every day, which just feeds the anxiety of every small dip, they check in occasionally, on a schedule, and let the long-term trend do the talking instead of the daily noise. Instead of making big financial decisions in a moment of panic, they set rules in advance, during a calm state of mind, so that fear doesn't get a vote when the market drops or an unexpected bill shows up. Let's go back to Rachel one more time. A year after that stock dipped to $45, it recovered and grew past her original purchase price. If she'd sold in that anxious moment, driven purely by the discomfort of watching the number go down, she would have locked in a real loss chasing relief from a temporary one. The version of Rachel who understood loss aversion, who recognized that gut drop feeling for what it was instead of obeying it, ended up in a completely different financial position than the version who let that feeling make her decisions for her. So here's the real lesson in all of this. The pain of losing $100 and the pleasure of finding $100 were never designed to be equal. Your brain isn't broken for feeling that imbalance. It's ancient, it's normal, and it happens to absolutely everyone, including the wealthiest, most experienced investors in the world. The difference isn't whether you feel that fear. It's whether you let that fear drive the car. Next time you feel that stomach drop moment, watching an investment dip, seeing a bill you didn't expect, thinking about walking away from something that isn't working, pause for a second and ask yourself, is this decision being made by me? Or is it being made by 10,000 years of survival instinct that doesn't know the difference between a lion and a stock market dip? If you can catch that feeling before it catches you, you're already ahead of most people. Subscribe to Wealth Mind for more insights into the psychology behind wealth and financial success.